Laudetur Jesus Christus. Vatican and World News.
In the headlines this Monday, the 16th of November, the Ethiopian government says it's captured another town in the northern Tigray region. Peru's interim president, Manuel Merino, resigns, and young economists and entrepreneurs gear up for the Economy of Francesco, which takes place later this week. In the Vatican, I'm Lydia O'Kane. Ethiopia's government says it has captured another town in the northern Tigray region after nearly 2 weeks of fighting. Nathan Morley reports.
Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed said that government troops had liberated Almata from the Tigray People's Liberation Front, known as the TPLF, which holds control of the district. This conflict is already spilling into Eritrea and destabilizing the wider Horn of Africa. The TPLF, which governs the region of more than 5 million people, has accused Eritrea of sending tanks and thousands of soldiers over the border to support Ethiopian federal troops. As it stands, hundreds of people have died and at least 20,000 refugees have fled over to Sudan. Over the weekend, the TPLF fired missiles at 2 airports in retaliation for airstrikes conducted by government forces. Last week, Abiy deployed the National Army on an offensive against local troops in Tigray after accusing them of attacking federal troops. Mr. Ahmed has said the military would bring an end to the fighting in the Tigray region and remove its leadership, which his government regards as being illegal. The African Union and the United Nations are concerned that the fighting could spread to other parts of the country. Last week, the Catholic bishops of Ethiopia appealed for peaceful dialogue, urging parties to resolve their differences in a spirit of respect and understanding. For Vatican News, this is Nathan Morley reporting.
Peru's interim president, Manuel Merino, has resigned after less than a week in the top job. James Blair's reports that COVID-19 ravaged Peru is politically reeling.
Manuel Merino has quit as caretaker president. He was installed following the impeachment of President Martin Vizcarra exactly a week ago. This was followed by nationwide protests, so in a nationally televised broadcast, Merino, who had previously been the Speaker of Congress, called it a day. 12 of the short-lived government's ministers, including those of Justice, Transportation, Trade, Energy and Mines, have also resigned. The protesters are condemning Congress, saying it's launching an internal coup. Merino was supposed to be the interim caretaker until Vizcarra's non-renewable term ended in July of next year. Congress has accused Vizcarra of accepting bribes as a state governor prior to his democratically winning the presidency in 2018. Vizcarra, who's accused Merino of being a dictator, has categorically denied all accusations of graft. A judge has ordered Vizcarra not to leave the country. Peru has had 5 presidents during the last 5 years. The presidential palace now lies empty. Uncertainty rather than a president rules. For Vatican News, James Blair reporting.
In Pakistan, the Catholic Archdiocese of Karachi recently organised a seminar to create awareness among women and girls about their rights and the growing phenomenon of forced conversion and child marriage. The initiative assumed an added urgency following the recent case of Arzuraja, the 13-year-old Christian girl who was abducted on October the 13th while playing outside her home in Karachi's railway colony. She was forcibly converted and married to a 44-year-old Muslim man. Robin Gomes has more.
Arzu Raja's case sent shockwaves through Pakistan, prompting religious minorities, particularly Christians, to hold nationwide protests. Her family is still fighting a legal battle for her custody, despite the Sindh court acknowledging she is a minor. Caritas Karachi and the Catholic Women's Organization, CWO, jointly organized a seminar on November the 13th in St. Jude's Parish in the commercial capital of Pakistan. Tabassum Yusuf, a High Court lawyer and counsel for Arzu, shed light on the legal rights of minority girls as guaranteed by the Constitution of Pakistan. Although abduction of an individual for the purpose of forced marriage is a criminal offense in Pakistan, it is one of, if not the most widespread reported crimes against women in the country, she said. Yusuf advised girls on how to safeguard themselves against abduction, forced conversion and marriage, such as by memorizing the cell phone numbers of their parents and siblings. She urged all to reinforce their commitment to provide quality education and equal opportunities to their girls, starting from the family. According to Sister Catherine Kasir, a CWO coordinator, mothers play a very important role in building the family and protecting girls from being a prey to conversion. We must pray daily with all family members to spiritually strengthen and renew our faith in Jesus Christ and to fight against the forces of evil, she said. Mansha Noor, Executive Secretary of Caritas Karachi, urged participants to share with others what they learned in the seminar and begin implementing them in the family if they want to save and protect young girls and children. She pointed to the importance of praying in the family as stressed by Mother Teresa. The family that prays together stays together, and if they stay together, they will love one another as God loved each one of them, she added. I'm Robin Gomes.
A new vaccine that protects against COVID-19 is nearly 95% effective, according to early data from US company Moderna. The results come after similar results from Pfizer. Moderna says they plan to apply for approval to use the vaccine in the next few weeks. German Chancellor Angela Merkel and state leaders are expected on Monday to impose new measures, including compulsory mask wearing at schools and drastic restrictions on household gatherings to tame a second coronavirus wave before Christmas. Germany this month imposed a lockdown light to rein in a second wave that is sweeping much of Europe. Bars and restaurants are closed, but schools and shops remain open. Meanwhile, Russia reported a record high of 22,778 new coronavirus infections on Monday, including 6,360 in the capital Moscow, bringing the national tally to nearly 2 million. Authorities also reported 303 coronavirus-related deaths in the last 24 hours, taking the official death toll to 33,489. A senior EU official said on Monday it may be too late already to put in place any trade deal with Britain before its informal membership of the European Union expires at the end of this year if Brexit negotiators seal a deal this week or next. Ireland, the EU state most exposed to Britain's exit from the EU, said earlier in the day that Britain and the bloc had up to 10 days to unlock talks to prevent sudden tariffs and quotas from eating into an estimated $1 trillion worth of annual trade in just over 6 weeks. International Olympic Committee, the IOC chief Thomas Bach, expressed confidence on Monday that the Tokyo Games will be held successfully next year, even allowing spectators to attend as the world grapples with a sharp rise in coronavirus infections. Bach's 2-day visit to Tokyo is likely to bolster Japan's efforts to stage the Olympics, but will do little to assuage the concerns of a public deeply worried about the spread of the virus. The IOC president spent a day with the Tokyo organisers discussing how to stage the massive sporting event during an unprecedented pandemic and ensure safety for the gathering of more than 11,000 international athletes. 47 faith-based institutions have committed themselves to divesting from fossil fuels following the Vatican's guidelines on ethical investments. Father Benedict Mayaki has more.
47 faith institutions announced their divestment from fossil fuels on Monday in the largest ever announcement of its kind among religious leaders. The Global Catholic Climate Movement said in a statement that 42 Catholic institutions and 5 other additional Protestant and Jewish institutions have severed ties with the fossil fuel industry in a bid to help tackle the climate crisis. They join with nearly 400 other faith institutions that have divested from fossil fuels. This announcement comes after the Vatican's first ever operational guidance on the environment was issued as part of the celebration of the 5th anniversary of Pope Francis's encyclical Laudato Si. The guidelines, signed by all of the Vatican's dicasteries, encouraged Catholics to avoid investing in companies that harm human, social, or environmental ecology. The Church's commitment to clean energy finds its roots in the tradition of the Catholic social teaching. 50 years ago on this month, Pope Paul VI, on the occasion of the 25th anniversary of the FAO, reminded everyone that everything is bound up together in the living design of the Creator and warned that we risk provoking a veritable ecological catastrophe. Similarly, Pope Francis in Laudato Si reiterated that everything is connected in one complex crisis which is both social and environmental. The Pope also noted that we still lack the culture needed to confront this crisis. Pope Francis has also scheduled an Economy of Francesco conference scheduled to begin on the 19th of November to examine innovative ways in which Catholics are developing a sustainable economy propelled by leadership from young people. I'm Father Benedict Mayaki.
And finally, young economists and entrepreneurs are gearing up for the Economy of Francesco, which takes place later this week. The 3-day online event, called for by Pope Francis, hopes to inspire young people to initiate a process of change in the global economy, making it more just, inclusive and sustainable. One participant is Anna Maria Giorgi, a teacher from India. She told Devon Watkins about her hopes of putting human dignity at the centre of the global economy.
So for me, the Economy of Francesco is this community of people coming from very different walks of life, but who all believe that we can do way better than what our economy is right now, and that all of this stems from a place of human dignity. So for me, the Economy of Francesco is a place where people who believe in this and who are trying to build this way of dialogue with the human person at the center can come together to create this new reality.
How do you think people like yourself can change the global economy?
The world economy, as much as it's a big and larger place, it can also start with each of us. Like Gandhi said, be the change you want to see. So that means that it has to begin with youth like me. It has to begin in my house, in my workplace, and in the choices I make. And the Economy of Francesco is giving all these individuals, like so many people across the place, a platform to come together and brainstorm and create together, sort of ripple effect and, impact everybody. And that should contribute towards changing the world's economy.
In what ways would you like to see the economy change?
I think the most pressing one that comes to my mind from where I've seen is that when I started off with the Economy of Francesco journey, I thought that a lot of problems that I saw with the economy were very local to my place and very special to my context. But meeting people from across the world and even just my country, I see that essentially a lot of problems are the same. The causes behind a lot of these problems are the same. And it stems out of, again, having that respect and love of neighbor. I think it boils down to that, to the love of neighbor. So I think the economy, first of all, to be better, it would be treating everybody as a human entity, right? Seeing the humanness behind them. And in a special way, starting with children. So if we could see children also as equal members of our society, and we have this saying where if the child and the woman in the society, their health and livelihood is taken care of, their dignity is taken care of, then that shows you the measure of the society.
Well, that brings us to the end of this edition of Vatican and World News. For more on these and other stories, be sure to check out our web portal at www.vaticannews.va. You can also catch the latest updates on our Facebook page or on Twitter. Many thanks goes to our studio team in the Vatican. Thank you for joining us.